it's Robbin McManne here. Do you have kids that are argumentative, that argue, that put up a fight every time you ask them to do something or you request something of them? Well, I do too. I have kids that are definitely willing to give me a piece of their mind. And I'm going to show you how you can stop the argument fast. Stop the argument so that it doesn't end up going on and on and on. Stop the argument so that you don't hurt your relationship with your child. Stop the argument so that you can create solutions instead of more fighting. While you're here, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me when you do. And I just want to say thank you in advance for that. I also love working with parents who are kind and smart and educated and compassionate and love their kids, but they also need some help and support. And they recognize that they may not have all of the tools and all of the skills and really all of the knowledge for them to meet their kids where they are, for them to understand their behavior better and to really connect with their kids on a level that invites more cooperation and better behavior. And so if that's you, if you're somebody that has a kid that is a little extra, is explosive or challenging or just difficult to parent, and maybe they have some extra needs and maybe they have a diagnosis of something like ADHD, for example, and you're just having struggles reaching them, it makes sense that you're going to need some help and support. And that is exactly what I do. I love working with parents just like you who need that little bit of extra help. And what I do in the work that I do will help you go from feeling really frustrated and at a loss and worried too about how your kids are going to turn out to coming to a place where you feel like you're really confident in the decisions that you're making for your family, that you can be calm and that you can connect with your kids so that your relationship doesn't just last the 18 years that they're at home with you, that lasts forever. That's what we all want when we have our kids. I know we do. And we get into situations sometimes that we don't expect. And the last thing we want is to be estranged from our kids. And there's things that we can do now that ensures their long-term well-being and our long-term well-being as their parents and as a family together. So every one of my videos has a link to book a call with me, and I really invite you to do that. Every call is confidential, it's free, and I would just love to talk to you because these calls are all about you, all about how I can support you, and there's never any judgment. I've been through a lot of stuff myself, and I know what it's like. I really do. And so you'll never get that from me. So please book a call. And here's what it's like to work with me. These are a couple of the clients that I've worked with. They're husband and wife. They have 4 kiddos, and I helped them through a really difficult time that they were going through when all the kids were really at different developmental stages, and it was kind of chaotic in their home. This is Olga and Gabriel. They say Robbin is magnificent and highly recommended. Throughout the parent coach journey we took, Robbin has taught us tangible and proven methods to work through various parenting issues we were facing at home with our 4 kids. Robbin speaks from both professional expertise and personal experience, which makes the coaching much more relatable, candid, and real. That can be you too, and it would just be my greatest honor to speak with you. So I hope you book a call soon. All right, let's dive into argumentative kids and how we can stop it and stop the argument in its tracks so it doesn't spiral into a bigger argument or festering resentment or anything like that. The first thing that I want you to know is that when your child is arguing with you, that it's not personal. It's not personal. And what you want to do is not add fuel to the fire because it's not about you anyway. Now, it's hard to imagine that it's not about you, even when they're saying horrible things to you and maybe about you. I have been in that situation too. I have had, one of my boys want to go up one side of me and down the other, telling me all the ways that I've screwed up, all the ways that I'm wrong, all the ways that he doesn't like the way I'm his mom. And what I have come to recognize is that all of that stuff that's coming out of their mouth, it's just noise. It's not that it's not important, but it's noise. And this noise, all the things that they're saying, is really just protecting this part that's vulnerable, this part of them that's upset, that where they need help and support, and they just don't know yet how to communicate with us, how to name their feelings. That's all learned experiences in order to be able to communicate properly. Let's face it, most adults we know don't really know how to communicate properly, right? So we can't expect that our kids will. And so what we fall into is a trap of our kids start to argue. We take that personally. We label it as disrespect or disobedience. And we want to tell them who's boss. We want to explain to them, well, you need to do this. You need to remember that I run this home. You need to remember all the things that I do for you. And you have to help out. You have to contribute to this home. You don't just live here. You are part of this family and blah, 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 right? We want to go in and then we start to lecture. Then maybe we're going to put them down too. We say things that are not very nice. We bring up the same old things that we've brought up, right? And I understand that. I have gotten into that too, where it's like, you're so lazy. Why don't you just think about other people instead of yourself all the time? Why do I always have to get mad for you to do something? Why do we always have to go down this road? Why can't you just say yes instead of arguing with me? But instead, what I want to invite you to do is to say nothing. Now, it doesn't mean the things that they say don't matter and that you're not ever going to address them. But this is the noise that's coming out of their mouth here. I want you to just be like Neo in the Matrix and just let it fly past you. When he's getting shot at with all those bullets, none of them touch him. He is just pivoting and weaving and nothing is hitting him. That's how I want you to imagine yourself. Like, none of this is going to hit me. None of it is going to stick. And I'm not going to attach to anything. And I'm not going to prolong this argument by saying anything. You're just going to listen. And I want you to really listen to what they're saying. Now, in our minds, we automatically go to judgment. We automatically want to defend ourselves, of course. But in this situation, this isn't necessarily a time for words right now. So if you're able to stay quiet, really listen, then your child is going to burn through their list of grievances a lot faster. And you haven't said anything that they can now attach to and then argue and say, that's right, because the last time you did that, you said this, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing else to attach to. And so they'll stop. And when they've stopped, that's when you can talk. And that's when you say, hey, it sounds like you really don't want to do that thing. Or it sounds like you're really upset about that. And then you're going to repeat back what you heard them say. You're really frustrated because your brother and sister don't have to do anything. You don't want to do it because you told your friends you were going to go and hang out with them, and this is going to make you late. Is that right? So you're just listening, you're repeating back what you heard them say, and you're confirming that that's right. And then you say, okay, so I hear you. And this thing needs to get done. So how are we going to work this out together? What are we going to do? Do you want to do the garbage later? Okay. Or do you want to just do it right now, just before you go, and I'll drive you? How can we create a win-win where the thing that you're asking for gets done and you're stopping an argument and not creating a rupture in your relationship, where now you've got to go back and repair that rupture? So often what'll happen is our kids will argue with us. We'll argue back at them. We'll say something we can't take back. And now we've got to go and apologize. And that actually means that we're focusing now on us and not our child and the thing that we wanted them to do. So we want to avoid all of that. If you follow these steps, you'll see that it works out so much better. And remember, the last video that I did last week was how to respond calmly instead of react in anger. And so if you haven't watched that, give it a quick watch. It'll really help you with this situation and so many more. And speaking of help, I have a guide that I'd love to offer you. It's called How to Turn a No into Cooperation. It's at strongwilledkids.com, www.strongwilledkids.com. And you can download the guide straight from there. And it will really, really help you to get more cooperation, to get better listening, and to get your kids more on side so you don't have to get in arguments with them and they don't want to argue with you. It really is a way to set your family up and the tone of your family up so that there's just more cooperation and more harmony. And I'll tell you, it feels so good when you're the one who's driving the bus, not your kids and their complaining and their arguments and all that kind of stuff. There is really a better way. And this guide, How to Turn a No into Cooperation, will absolutely help you. So please go ahead and go to strongwilledkids.com. So, for the next video I'd love for you to watch is the 4 strategies on how to get difficult kids to cooperate. This video will really help you, especially if you've got one of those strong willed, difficult to parent kiddos. Remember, that's really my expertise, and that's what I love to teach parents about. So, have a look at this video. It'll really give you a roadmap to creating more harmony and more cooperation in your home. And thanks again for being here. Look, if you've got a difficult kiddo, just don't hesitate to book a call with me. It's confidential, it's private, and there's zero judgment. I know what it's like to really, really struggle. And I also know that you love your kids and that you want the best for them and for you. And so maybe a little help and support is what you need to get you there. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to watch this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.